Hello again, everybody. Here we are again for DECT Today in the DECT Forum YouTube channel. Now, we're talking a lot at the moment about DECT NR+, and one of the very first companies that we've had contact with that's working with DECT NR+, is a company called Lynq. Now, Mike Wrape of Lynq is a VP of products at Lynq, and he's based out of Los Angeles. We're going to talk to Mike about Lynq's Raven module and how Lynq came to be using DECT NR+. So let's kick off. Mike, tell us the background to Lynq and how you came to be involved with DECT NR+.
Sure, Vince. So, those of you who don't know much, if anything, about Lynq, we were actually founded in 2014 as a consumer products company, and we developed a product at that time called the Smart Compass. And within the Smart Compass, we also developed our first generation of an ad hoc wireless networking technology that was used within the product to share information between other similar products. The Smart Compass was basically kind of think of it as a friend finder type of device. It had GPS embedded within it, and then it had a small display. And the target market was the kind of outdoor enthusiast market, where you could find your friends or family either on a ski slope or a hiking trail, and they're kind of there was an arrow on the display would kind of point in their direction, and it would indicate how far away they were from you. And so we launched that product and had a really successful Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign where we raised about $1.7 million.
Wow.
And it was actually one of the most successful Indiegogo campaigns ever. And then soon after we launched the product, we started getting a lot of interest from the military and defense community in what we were doing, and primarily around the networking technology. And so at that time, then the company kind of went through a pivot and decided that the core competence of the company was the networking technology and not necessarily the actual product. And so again, our business model shifted in that direction, as well as again, speaking with this military and defense community about the technology that we had and how they could apply it to the kinds of products that they were interested in. And then their interest in the capabilities of the network started broadening, and they started asking us about things like high quality voice and audio, even video. And then again, we started having discussions with customers developing products for the military and defense, especially those developing voice types of applications. And we soon discovered that the LoRa kind of physical layer and chipset that we were using for the Smart Compass wasn't going to be sufficient for high quality voice, high quality low latency voice. And so we started a search for a new standard, a new physical layer capability. And then ultimately, we decided on DECT NR Plus as the best option to build the future of our company on, really.
Well, that's fantastic news as far as we're concerned, of course. I said that in my intro that you already have a project. What is it and what does it do?
Well, we're now on our third generation of our networking stack. And again, Lynq sees itself as more of a software company than a hardware company. So again, we're on our third generation of the networking stack itself. We call that stack Raven. It supports both voice and data. And for customers, we provide them with the capability to either do a hosted architecture where they bring their own host to the product, or just recently we now have engineering samples of a hardware module that's based on the Nordic NRF 9151 that we will basically use together with our networking stack and sell that as a complete solution to customers. And in that particular case, customers can also leverage kind of a hostless architecture where we have a limited capability to host some customer application space on our apps processor, and then provide them with an SDK to develop their own applications.
And how is Raven integrating with existing Lynq solutions then?
So again, Raven is essentially its own standalone networking application. So Raven devices talk to Raven devices over a Raven network that's got the foundation built on DECT NR plus.
Okay. And what markets are you aiming Raven at, and what applications?
Well, Raven can address a lot of different target markets, a very wide range. But we're a small company, so from our perspective, we have to pick and choose the I would say the best markets for the current point in time. And again, with this interest from the military and defense community in voice, high quality voice applications, we have a lot of interest from OEMs that are developing things like tactical communication headsets for military, other government, and first responder types of use cases. We also have similar interest from OEMs developing hearing protection headsets with built-in wireless intercoms for industries and that are, have workers in high noise environments like airport ramp workers, construction workers, and such. And then another adjacent market with similar needs is in the professional intercom space. So OEMs that are developing headsets ranging from usage cases like quick service restaurants where workers or employees are using headsets to communicate with the drive-through, folks coming through a drive-through and with the other crew members, all the way up to very large venues where security staff or production staff are all wearing headsets over fairly long ranges. If you think about a venue like the Hollywood Bowl, which is a pretty, large kind of entertainment venue, those folks need to be able to communicate with each other. And so that's another kind of application or target market that we see a lot of traction with. And then on the data side, again, I mentioned that Raven has the ability to support both the high quality, low latency voice, but also just pure IoT data applications with very low latencies as well. We have a lot of traction from real-time machine control types of customers that are developing the needs or autonomous vehicles, everything from drone companies to companies involved in autonomous, very large autonomous mining vehicles, for instance. So again, that's another, kind of the wide range of IoT types of use cases for the solution.
Would it be fair to say that the capabilities of DECT NR Plus are leading Lynq into what sounds like a bunch of new areas and applications?
Absolutely, and when you think about it, with a technology that is fairly ad hoc in nature, uh, locations where there is no infrastructure for a more star topology, deployment or standard, where base stations or fixed points or access points are required, or you have locations where the infrastructure is just impaired by the environment or what have you. Ad hoc networks are ideal for those kinds of use cases, and especially when you think about networks can be created and taken down kind of on the fly on an as needed basis. The other thing that's nice is that typically they're all using unlicensed spectrum, so there's no need for sort of the service provider cellular model to acquire a lot of expensive spectrum, roll out expensive infrastructure, and then again, with the business model of a cellular kind of deployment like that. There's the reoccurring subscription fees that are also cost prohibitive in a lot of applications now where an ad hoc networking technology can come in and serve the needs better.
It sounds like the DECT frequency band had some definite advantages for you.
Absolutely. And the nice thing about how Etsy and the DECT forum developed the DECT 2020 specification is that they incorporated a lot of richness in the bands that are allowed, by the specification itself. Naturally, the industry started with the nearly globally allocated classic DECT 1.8, 1.9 gigahertz bands. And for us, those bands are very ideal. First of all, because it is essentially globally available for use on an unlicensed basis, basically. And also because of the kind of the situation to these days, it's very lightly encumbered. There's very little interference in the band. And when you compare this with the sub gigahertz bands that are also unlicensed, as well as 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, which, there's a lot of interference in those bands. So it makes the classic DECT bands, very attractive, for use.
And digging a little bit deeper into the standard itself, what characteristics did DECT NR Plus offer you that weren't available using other wireless solutions?
Well, one of the really nice things too about the way NR Plus was specified is that it leverages, basically from the physical layer perspective, a nice OFDM waveform, as well as a lot of optionality in the numerologies that it supports, including multiple choices for modulation and coding schemes, which translates into being able to adapt the radio to the particular application in terms of trading off range and data rate performance. So from that perspective, it's very rich. And there are a lot of customers that we talk to that are using current wireless solutions, and their products are suffering, especially in the cases where there's severe multipath,
Right.
like in a large entertainment venue that maybe has an enclosed building or venue itself. And again, they get a lot of multipath in those environments, and they're very seriously looking at NR Plus because of the fact that with OFDM, there is a lot of multipath resiliency, and they see that as a huge benefit in selecting their next, the next wireless technology on their roadmaps.
And was it important to link that DECT NR Plus is standardized?
Absolutely. And again, the DECT Forum has done a great job with Etsy and standardizing the entire solution. We've talked with customers that are fearful of non-standardized solutions for various reasons. And again, it's definitely a plus that it is a standard.
Okay, and will you be seeking regulatory certification for Raven?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're actually today working with our test lab partners and going through the regulatory testing process for one of our customers who's going to be launching a product later this year. And primarily the focus right now for this particular customer is FCC and Industry Canada
Mhm.
approval. We expect that CE Red testing is going to follow that. And testing so far has been going very well. And with our module, which we refer to as the LNQ 3195, we will be putting that module through modular certification later this year.
Well, this is really exciting, the fact that we can talk about products that are up and coming. I mean, what markets will you first address with these products, and just about where are you in the roadmap?
So we have a pretty large number of evaluations of the Raven solution going on right now, both for voice applications as well as data-only types of applications.
Mhm.
We expect that several customers will actually be launching Raven-enabled products by the end of the year or slightly into beginning of next year. In
Wow.
addition, our roadmap from a network perspective, we have a pretty rich set of additional features that we'll be providing in I would say periodic releases of network updates. And again, the other thing I haven't really mentioned is that in addition to our module that's embedded with the networking stack to enable the end products to communicate with each other over a Raven network, we're also developing what we call Raven View, which is our remote device management platform.
Okay.
And Raven View then enables kind of like connectivity to the outside world from a Raven network. And initially, for the purposes of remote device management, or, remote configuration, monitoring of node health, things like being able to view the topology of the network, and providing remote software update capability, typically from an IP network, such as a public or private cloud.
Okay, well, Mike, the first time I had any contact with Lynq was at DECT World last year, our annual member event. That event's coming up again in a short while now. I don't know whether I'll be seeing Lynq at that event again, but I certainly hope that over the coming months we can stay closely in touch with you to keep a finger on the pulse of what's happening with Raven and see how these products are getting to market. I'd like to thank you very much for your time today, and let's stay close.
Okay, thank you so much, Vince, for your time.
Okay, cheers for now.